As US and Israeli forces launched coordinated airstrikes against Iran, the battlespace evolved beyond a simple air-to-ground exchange into a stress test of Tehran's layered air defense architecture. Among its key assets, the HQ-9B, China's long-range surface-to-air missile system, had been positioned as a central pillar in protecting Iranian airspace. Operational realities, however, suggest the system faced significant challenges under high-intensity strike conditions. The combined effects of electronic warfare, coordinated strike packages, and precision-guided munitions likely degraded HQ-9B performance in several engagements. In some instances, it did not meet expected effectiveness thresholds, raising questions about its reliability in modern combat environments. This outcome also places China in a sensitive position, as one of its flagship air defense systems faces scrutiny under real-world conditions. Developed from research dating back to the 1970s and refined through multiple iterations, the HQ-9 family, including the HQ-9A fielded in 2001, and the more advanced HQ-9B has been marketed as comparable to Russia's S-300, and in some aspects, competitive with the US Patriot system. On paper, HQ-9B features a range of roughly 260 kilometers, phased array radar capable of tracking multiple targets, and vertical cold launch capability enabling 360-degree coverage. It is designed to engage a wide spectrum of threats, from aircraft to cruise missiles, and under certain conditions, ballistic targets. These specifications supported its deployment in strategic zones across China and its export to countries such as Pakistan, Egypt, Azerbaijan, and Iran. However, combat conditions expose the gap between theoretical performance and operational effectiveness against advanced US and Israeli strike operations characterized by electronic suppression, coordinated tactics, and high-volume precision fires. HQ-9B's real-world performance appears less consistent with initial expectations. Iran's decision to procure the system in 2025, reportedly through oil for arms arrangements with China, came amid escalating tensions following a short but intense conflict that inflicted significant losses on military leadership, scientific personnel, and civilian infrastructure. In response, Tehran accelerated efforts to reinforce a nationwide, multi-layered air defense network. This network integrates indigenous systems such as Bavar, 373, and Khordad, 1-5 with imported platforms like the Russian S-300 and Pantsir, S-1, alongside mobile air defense units designed for rapid repositioning. In theory, this architecture could create a highly contested airspace capable of denying access to hostile aircraft. Within this framework, HQ-9B was expected to serve as a high-tier interceptor, tracking and engaging long-range aerial threats. Yet large-scale US and Israeli strikes, reportedly employing precision weapons early in the campaign, placed sustained pressure on Iran's defenses, highlighting potential vulnerabilities in system integration, survivability, and real-time combat performance. Reports on specific damage, particularly involving senior leadership or sensitive targets, remain fragmented and lack broad independent verification. As such, any assessment of losses or the effectiveness of individual weapon systems should be approached with caution, pending more reliable intelligence. In parallel, the U.S. Air Force executed large-scale strike operations, employing fighter aircraft and bombers to penetrate deep into Iranian airspace. Hundreds of targets were reportedly engaged within a compressed time frame, with more than 20 of Iran's 31 provinces affected by sustained strike activity. Military installations, radar sites, and air defense positions were heavily targeted, leaving portions of the battle space severely degraded. Within this context, the HQ-9 system, previously expected to function as a critical layer of Iran's air defense, appears to have delivered limited operational impact under overwhelming pressure. As the campaign progressed, the battlespace assessment grew increasingly unfavorable for Iran, with recurring reports of strikes, explosions, and infrastructure damage emerging across multiple regions. US and Israeli strikes demonstrated high precision and tight coordination, systematically hitting military and critical infrastructure targets. The more notable development, however, was the limited response from Iran's air defense network, expected to serve as a resilient shield, but showing minimal engagement under pressure. Iranian leadership likely anticipated attrition, but appears to have overestimated real-world defensive capacity. Even under high-intensity attack, systems like the HQ-9 were expected to generate at least some level of interception and impose costs on attacking forces. In theory, HQ-9 offers long-range detection, early warning against incoming aircraft or missiles, and phased-array radar capable of tracking multiple targets simultaneously. Its high-speed interceptors and guidance systems are designed to neutralize threats before they reach defended assets, though operational performance under combat conditions appears more constrained. In complex combat environments, these advantages can be significantly degraded. A key factor is electronic warfare, an area where modern forces invest heavily. Platforms like the EA-18G Growler are designed to jam, disrupt, and degrade radar and command and control systems, directly impacting the effectiveness of integrated air defense networks. Under such conditions, HQ-9 performance depends not just on specifications, but on integration, coordination, and resilience against advanced interference. Electronic attack can create corridors that allow strike aircraft to penetrate, engage, and egress with limited resistance. When sensor coverage is suppressed, the broader air defense architecture can be severely compromised. In modern warfare, air defense systems do not fail solely under kinetic pressure. They are often neutralized by non-kinetic effects. The HQ-9 may illustrate this dynamic when confronted with advanced electronic warfare. Although modern systems are typically designed with ECCM resilience in mind, available assessments suggest the HQ-9 may have limited preparedness against sustained electronic attack. Once EA-18G Growler platforms initiate jamming, communications and data links can be disrupted, degrading connectivity with command and control nodes. In such conditions, the system risks becoming functionally blind and deaf, losing the coordination essential for effective air defense operations. Phased array radars, though capable on paper of tracking multiple targets, may underperform in contested electromagnetic environments. Electronic interference can degrade target lock, inject false signals, and complicate discrimination between real and decoy tracks. This creates exploitable gaps that low observable aircraft and cruise missiles can leverage to penetrate defended airspace. When detection and response are degraded, overall air defense effectiveness declines regardless of baseline specifications. Similar challenges have surfaced elsewhere. In May 2025, Pakistan reportedly deployed HQ-9 systems to protect key areas like Karachi and Lahore amid tensions with India. The intent was to strengthen interception capability and safeguard critical infrastructure. However, assessments suggest that combined electronic warfare and precision strikes place significant strain on these defenses. This underscores a broader point. In modern warfare, systems like HQ-9 are shaped as much by the electromagnetic environment and adversary tactics as by their standalone capabilities. Once defensive layers are disrupted, follow-on attacks such as loitering munitions and cruise missiles like BrahMos can exploit the gaps, causing widespread damage and exposing systemic vulnerabilities. A system marketed for long-range detection and high-speed interception would be expected to dominate the airspace in such scenarios. Instead, reports point to disrupted radar displays, degraded sensing, and launch units unable to engage due to loss of target tracking. Some analysts attribute this to operator error or unfamiliar deployment conditions. However, repeated underperformance across different theaters and against dissimilar adversaries weakens the argument for isolated causes. The pattern suggests limitations in real-world capability rather than circumstance. Despite strong specifications, HQ-9 appears challenged in modern combat environments, particularly under electronic warfare and coordinated strike tactics. The gap between theory and practice is again evident. By contrast, widely regarded systems share a common trait: repeated combat validation. Israel's Iron Dome, for example, has consistently intercepted incoming threats over years of operations, protecting major population centers like Jerusalem and Tel Aviv while limiting large-scale damage. Similarly, the US Patriot system has undergone extensive combat testing since the early 1990s, beginning with the Gulf War and continuing through multiple conflicts in the 2000s. More recently, it has played a key role in Ukraine, helping defend cities and military infrastructure against missile attacks. The core difference lies in combat experience. Systems like Patriot and Israel's Iron Dome have been repeatedly tested in real-world conditions, allowing operators to refine tactics, improve performance, and continuously upgrade capabilities based on battlefield data. As a result, these systems have become more accurate, flexible, and adaptive against evolving threats. In contrast, HQ-9 appears to lack comparable combat validation, with most of its testing conducted in controlled environments rather than under sustained operational pressure. Tests in environments like the Taklamakan Desert, featuring pre-scripted scenarios and slow, predictable drone targets, can produce strong paper results but fail to reflect modern combat realities. In practice, warfare involves layered attacks, combining cruise missiles, loitering munitions, manned aircraft, and electronic warfare to disrupt defenses. When exposed to such complexity in Pakistan and Iran, HQ-9 has reportedly struggled to adapt under real operational pressure, revealing critical limitations. These shortcomings extend beyond the tactical level, raising broader strategic concerns. In recent years, China has expanded its role in the global arms market, accounting for roughly 6% of global arms exports, with clients across Africa, Asia, and parts of Europe and the Americas. This shifts the focus from theoretical capability to real-world effectiveness. Can systems like HQ-9 reliably defend in actual conflict, or are they insufficiently battle-tested? China's growing defense export network underscores this concern, with Pakistan emerging as one of its most significant partners. Between 2020 and 2024, this country accounted for as much as 63% of China's total arms exports, a figure that highlights a high level of dependence. Beyond Pakistan, other nations such as Myanmar and Bangladesh in Asia, as well as Nigeria and Algeria in Africa, have also invested heavily in Chinese systems, ranging from drones and tanks to missiles and infantry equipment. The rationale is clear. For countries with limited defense budgets, Chinese products offer an attractive option due to significantly lower costs compared to equivalent systems from the US, Europe, or Russia. Aggressive marketing, backed by impressive technical specifications, has further reinforced confidence in these systems as cost-effective solutions. However, battlefield realities are beginning to challenge that perception. As HQ-9, one of China's flagship systems, reportedly underperforms in Pakistan and Iran, many countries are being forced to reassess the true quality of the systems they operate. What was once a cost advantage is now under increasing scrutiny. What once appeared to be a cost advantage now risks becoming a liability if systems fail to perform in real combat. Signs of doubt are emerging as more countries recognize issues with performance, reliability, and adaptability. This could drive a gradual shift, with some states reducing dependence on Chinese suppliers and exploring alternatives from Russia or European partners to ensure long-term defense capability. Recent developments place China in a difficult position, as key systems fall short of expectations under operational conditions. Despite years of investment in military modernization and domestic defense industry development, real-world performance remains the ultimate test. Large-scale military parades and technology showcases may project strength and deterrence, particularly toward rivals like the United States, but visual display and technical specifications do not guarantee battlefield effectiveness. The HQ-9 case highlights this gap, where a heavily promoted system struggles under real combat conditions. Such shortcomings extend beyond isolated technical issues and directly impact the credibility of the broader defense industry. As weaknesses become more visible, ranging from inconsistent production quality to unstable electronic components and reliance on adapted designs, confidence in these systems is increasingly challenged. Systems may appear impressive in demonstrations, but fail to meet the demands of modern warfare. Today, combat is no longer about raw metrics like size or speed. It is defined by the integration of technology, software, system interoperability, and resilience against electronic warfare. A system is only effective when all these elements function cohesively, an area where China appears not yet fully mature. High missile speed is irrelevant if it cannot penetrate or evade enemy defenses. Likewise, extended range and multi-target tracking offer limited value if the system cannot withstand advanced electronic attack. This is the critical gap exposed in HQ-9's real-world performance. The outcome suggests not only technical shortcomings, but also broader strategic consequences. The inability to intercept US and Israeli strikes enabled high-value targets inside Iran to be hit, degrading both leadership structures and defensive capacity. As a result, a system expected to serve as a primary shield became an exploitable vulnerability. The impact extends beyond the battlefield. China's credibility as an arms exporter is facing increased scrutiny, prompting potential buyers to reassess the balance between cost and real-world performance. These events may be cited for years as a case study in the gap between marketing claims and operational effectiveness. While not publicly acknowledged, Chinese military planners are likely reassessing the true capabilities of their systems. As confidence and combat reliability come into question, future operational planning, particularly in sensitive scenarios such as Taiwan, becomes more complex and risk-prone.